Hi guys, and welcome back to Leslie Through the Looking Glass. For those of you that are new here, hi, my name is Leslie. I'm so happy to have you here. For my returning viewers, as always, thank you so much for coming back to support my channel. It really means so very much. All right, guys, I hope everybody had a great weekend, a nice Easter if you celebrate Easter, or just a good weekend if you don't. We had a really nice weekend. Busy as always when it comes to holiday stuff and balancing family and all the festivities, but it was really nice. We did Easter eggs on Saturday afternoon, and then Sunday when my husband got home from the gym and shopping and stuff, we had Millie's, Easter bunny had visited and hid her basket in the garage for her to find, and then hid her surprise eggs in the yard. And then we went to one grandma and papa's house for lunch and Easter fun, Easter egg hunt, all the good stuff, and then to the other set of grandparents. So we were gone all day running around, but it was so fun. And she loves Easter. She gets more excited about Easter egg hunts than she does like Christmas stuff. It's so funny. She was the same way last year. She just loves it. And just wants us to like keep rehiding eggs for her. So she essentially had four Easter egg hunts because we did our neighborhood one last weekend, Easter bunny at our house. Both grandparents did eggs at their house too. So she was living her best Easter life. And yeah, that is about it there. I am going to touch base today on just a little bit. I had a couple people recently reach out about how I went about finding a good therapist in my area and like what steps to take and like all of that good stuff. So that's what I'm going to touch base for most of this video. And it's funny, I also had a couple people lately ask about Disney and how like this all fits together for me personally, and my connections with it. So I think I'm going to save that for a separate video probably next week. Just because it's funny, a lot of us, in this community kind of bond together over Disney, and a lot of people also embrace the mental health stuff. And I think that it's really interesting, and I'm just going to share my perspective on, for me personally, how these things kind of fit together for me. But yeah, so that's what we have coming up. Like I said, today though, I'm going to touch base on this because I think it's super important and it is super overwhelming, especially when you're in it. Like now looking back, the amount of effort it took to like make the first calls and do the first research was overwhelming. And now I'm like, why was this so hard for me? So I just want to share the resources I personally used and kind of how I went about it in case it helps anybody on their journey, because it is scary and overwhelming. And I am very lucky that I, found my therapist right away who was a very good fit for me, but that's not always the case. So I figured we'll just talk a little bit about that today. And then that's it. Sorry guys, I'm so thirsty today. After weekends were really busy, I don't drink nearly as much water as I usually do. So on Mondays, I'm like chugging water all day. But I just wanted to talk for a minute about this because it is so important. I think therapy is great for everyone. I kind of touched on that last week. It's super important. It's a super helpful tool for you no matter what phase of life you're in, I feel like. But it can be overwhelming when you need to find somebody like quickly. It's stressful and scary, and you're already dealing with anxiety, and like making phone calls makes you more anxious, and like knowing if you're picking the right person and all of that is very difficult. So I will say the best, I saved it on my phone so I could remember what to tell you guys. Psychologytoday.com is a huge reference for me. It is it's a national database. That's what I'm going for. So you can search your area, you can search for specific things in that field that you're looking for. You can narrow it down like male, female. You can narrow it down for like depression, anxiety, suicidal thoughts. Like you can really narrow down your scope for your area based on what you actually are needing, which I think is amazing, because not every therapist is going to cover all of the things. I also reached out on Facebook. My Facebook is pretty small, friends and family. That's like my personal social media page. And I put on there asking for references, and I have a friend who works in the field who kind of guided me to a few references and a few people, and she is the one who recommended this to me, as well as a few specific people based on what I was looking for that she knew of or had heard recommendations on. So I took the few people she had recommended and kind of looked at their profile on this page, and then started making some calls, because the other thing too is it's hard because most of us have, jobs, family commitments, whatever the case may be. Our schedules are tight. COVID really messed with everything too. So like just finding the ability to go to an appointment when could I get in that worked with my schedule. I would have to find childcare for my daughter, all of those things. So I'm very lucky. One of the very first places I called could get me in on my off day. It was near my parents, so I was able to just take Amelia, drop her off, and then go to the building. And I will say this, therapists are not one size fits all. I have gone to therapy 2 other times in my life before this last time, both fairly short term to deal with like a quick onset of grief. In hindsight, I kind of wish I would have made it a more regular thing, but back then I just was like, I don't know how to get through this specific thing. Once I got through it, I was kind of good. But the first time I had a therapist, I did not like it all, but I was young and I did not know, that sometimes you don't mesh with that person. Your ways of communicating with each other are not necessarily the best for what you need. There's a lot of different reasons, just regular comfortability, that kind of thing. So I learned from that experience. And then my second experience, I reached out and found somebody new, and that woman was amazing. And then this time I knew that I needed to find a good long-term fit. And I was mentally preparing myself going in because I've done this before. And if my biggest piece of advice is this, when you're finding a therapist, if you are not 100% comfortable and cannot 100% put your guard down and like really feel like you're communicating, and that person is hearing you and communicating effectively back to you, move on. Do not think it has to be this like uncomfortable relationship where you don't feel like you're getting the best out of it. I wish I had known that before. Like I said, I was very lucky the last 2 times now. Both people I've found have been fantastic. When I went in this most recent time, this was the most long-term that I was in therapy. It was about a year, and then I took a break because of COVID, because it all went to telehealth, and I really thought that was going to be awkward. But then things started overwhelming me because COVID triggered a whole new set of anxieties within myself. So I started doing telehealth appointments. Then we kind of felt like I was in a pretty good place. I was managing. I had the tools I needed at this point. And then if I started feeling overwhelmed or new things started or I wasn't making ground, I could then, schedule a new appointment, which I did 2 different times in this, in that time frame where I did a session or 2 in between breaks when things, like we miscarried and I had a really hard time. And then again, when we decided for sure to do long-term family planning and not have more kids, I needed a session then too, to just kind of get my thoughts out and figure out how to phrase things in my own head that made me not feel guilty. And so I'm very lucky because I found this person right off the bat I was super comfortable with. When I walked in that first appointment, I was super nervous, overwhelmed. I just started crying instantly. I am a crier. All my emotion comes out in tears, happy, sad, angry, frustrated, all of it. But I never once felt judged. I felt like I was talking to somebody who understood me, heard me, and she was able to communicate back to me in a way that I was able to take in. So that was really important. And I feel like that's the number one thing. Even more important than probably their ability to deal with whatever you're going through for me personally. Like, obviously they need to know what they're doing, but it can be the most knowledgeable person about that. But if I don't feel like I can be myself and like actually get out all the information, I feel like you're wasting your time somewhat, because that's why you're there. And I felt like I was able to do that immediately. So those are my big things. Reach out to people, because I promise, I mean, I get it. There's still a stigma and it can be hard to put yourself out there like that. But there are so many other people, I promise you, in your world also struggling or use these tools already that can help direct you. Like I said, the person who responded to my Facebook post messaged me and gave me these people, and I'm so grateful. But I guarantee there are people either using these people or who work in the field that can help direct you. And like I said, the Psychology Today, which I'll put that in the description for you guys in case anybody wants to reference it later. Psychology Today. That really, like I said, gives you tons of information and kind of helps you narrow down what you're looking for if you're in a big area, especially. But yeah, that's basically what I did and how I went about it. I understand not everybody is comfortable like reaching out or posting on social media or asking around. Understandably so. It's very hard. I was desperate at that point. So, and I was struggling so much that in my mind, nothing could get worse. So I did not have that kind of issue reaching out and trying to gather that information, but it was very overwhelming where to start. So I just wanted to kind of share that. Don't, never be ashamed that you need help. Everybody can use it at some point in their life. B, the more we talk about this, the less stigma there will be. And one day this will be like just finding a regular doctor. And I think that is so important. I really feel like mental health should be treated very similarly. And I'm very grateful too, by the way, that I had a medical doctor that had enough knowledge and picked up enough clues in my appointment to send me this direction. Because I had no idea. I was drowning, just drowning at that time, you guys, and had no idea that's what was going on. No clue. And a half-hour visit with this doctor, and she had so much more awareness of what I was going through than I did. I went in literally thinking that I had some sort of like massive issue with my brain, medically. I had never known anxiety and mental health can affect your physical health so greatly. It takes a lot for me to go to the doctor, a lot. And I was terrified making that appointment because I was afraid, I just had a baby. I was afraid they were going to tell me I had something horrible wrong with me. And it literally was all linked to my anxiety. So I'm grateful. So if you have things that are unexplained, definitely if you're like fighting with a doctor about things, I definitely also recommend, having a doctor that's well versed in your health and can help you if it's beyond just medical. Because I'm so grateful I had that. And again, it was kind of on a whim. I tried a new doctor. I did not have like a actual, family doctor or whatever at that point. I'd seen one doctor a few times, but wasn't always the best fit for me. And I got lucky because I just found this one as it was covered by my insurance and tried her out, and she was amazing. So something else to be aware of, because something I had no clue that was going on. So I think that's all I have today, guys. I think I've rambled on about this enough. But if you have any other questions, I hope I cleared, up anything for the people who reached out. And if you have any specific questions, please feel free to contact me, and I will do my best. I am in no way, shape, or form a professional, and this is just all speaking from my personal experience. But I'm always more than happy to try to help if I can. All right, guys. I will see you this weekend. Hopefully, I will have one of my kind of videos up about Winnie the Pooh musical, because I don't think I have anything else coming, and I'm still working on getting the Disney Princess concert vlog together. I will have a box swap in May, and like I said, next week I'm going to kind of talk about how this channel came to be and combined my two pieces of my channel, and why Disney I think is such a big part of my happy place, per some other questions I got. Hope you guys have a great week. Let's go get it done this week, guys. See you next week. Bye.